Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to recap of night number 15 of Big Brother Season 25. Our second eviction night of the season. We'll see how this one will go. It's been back and forth. All right, so quick, a 15-second summary of what we've got right now. Cameron and Riley are on the block. One of them will be going home this evening, or at least getting evicted. We don't know if there's battle backs or netherworlds or whatever, but one of them will be going out the door this evening. Riley was Hisam's target and seemed to be going home. But then over the last couple of days, really starting Monday or so, Cirie and Izzy started working on a plan to flip the House vote and get out Cameron instead. It seemed to be working. Cirie was working her magic. And then they changed their ideas. They decided that they were going to unflip the House and get out Riley instead. And now it looks like that's the plan that's actually going to work. Looks like Riley will be leaving tonight. We still have 12 hours or a little less. In this house, that's more than enough time. But it does look like Riley will probably be going home this evening after Cirie kind of backed off. Cirie and Izzy backed off their original plan to flip the House. So there you are. So let's talk about last night's TV episode real quick before we talk about the overnight feeds themselves. The veto competition they showed last night. A weird competition using audio equipment, spinning records backwards like a DJ, and following just a few very basic commands about putting CDs in toilets and things like that. Typical Big Brother kind of stuff. A lot of set building for a comp that seemed kind of basic. It was just strange. Now, a couple of things on that. One, it was held at the alternate competition site. It was not held in the backyard, which is why the house guest got the backyard available Thursday night instead of waiting until after veto competitions on Saturday. So we can confirm that. The fact that this was an audio competition, who came up with that idea while we've got Matt in the house with his hearing impairment? I don't know. It just shows a lot of this stuff is planned way ahead of time. But the fact it was an audio competition, Matt had gotten picked to compete in it. It does make me wonder if something about this competition just wasn't working well with Matt. And that's why we had the feeds down for so long on Saturday. They may have started this thing. It didn't work. They had to go back, retune, change up the comp a little bit to better accommodate them, and reshoot the whole thing. Just a thought. I don't know, but I do wonder about that. For those of you who are interested, I just saw an article in Entertainment Weekly talking about everything that production has done to accommodate Matt this season with his hearing impairment in terms of monitors and things like that. I'm going to post it in the show notes. Check it out. It's pretty nice little article. But it was an audio competition. Matt was competing in it, and I do think that probably might have had an effect on what was going on. All right, let's talk about the other part of the TV episode that I was really excited to see, and that was the veto ceremony speech. Everyone was going on and on about Hisam and how Hisam himself termed it cruel. The speech he gave to Riley. I really wanted to see this thing happen. I don't think we saw it. I think the TV episode was edited. I don't know if they edited it in the interest of time or they edited it in the interest of protecting Hisam a little bit from some of the worst parts of what he said. I still don't know the exact verbiage. I don't know if we're going to know at this point until, I don't know, after Riley's out of the house. Maybe someone's going to ask her that question. We'll find out. But I was a little disappointed in the veto speech. It wasn't the cruelty that I was expecting, that I heard about. We'll find out about later. All right, with that, let's talk about the overnight feeds, beginning with the conclusion of the TV episode itself. All right, we've got Cirie and Nicole, Mimi, and I still don't know which name to refer to her. Cirie and Nicole and Red are counting votes. They're realizing that Riley really only has Matt and Jag, Blue, maybe America that are going to vote to keep her. And even with that, I think everyone except Matt could easily flip if they find out how the rest of the house is going. So they are realizing that probably Riley is going home this evening, that their plan to unflip the flip they'd already planned is actually working okay. All right, we've got Cirie as a way to ensure that he votes against Riley, is telling him that, hey, Riley had said that if her side won tonight's HOH, that they were going to put up Red and Bowie. They wanted to get at kind of the marginal players. And she said, you Red and Bowie Jane, that's who Riley was pointing out as who probably would go up if they win HOH. She then tells Bowie the same thing. Bowie Jane comes in and she tells her the same thing, that, hey, y'all may think y'all are playing the middle and all of that, but the other side was targeting y'all because they didn't want to create a bunch of big waves this week. Y'all were going to be it. So in other words, hint, 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 you may want to do everything you can to keep that group from forming again, such as maybe sending Riley home this evening. So Cirie is certainly trying to finish everything up and make sure there's no loose ends that she has to worry about. All right, we've got Cirie saying that she's just tired of playing games, that she's just going to start asking people what they're going to do. I get it. We all got a little exhausted with the back and forth as well, but Cirie and Izzy were the primary ones that were responsible for the flip-flopping back and forth this week. But she is working to ensure that Riley's side of the house doesn't realize that Cirie was the one behind the initial plan to maybe, that Cirie was the one behind the plan to now flip it back and get Riley out of the house. Cirie's trying to play both sides. She's doing a pretty good job. She's pretty masterful at it, but she's certainly trying to not take the blame for as much uncertainty as we've had this week. And it's her and Izzy. All right, we've got Corey and America talking in the bathroom. Corey is very observant. He has pointed out to America, he says, look, Cirie's side of the house, they're just avoiding talking to Riley. They're walking other directions when she comes up. They're trying to avoid any conversation with her. It's not in that house sometimes about what people tell you, because they'll lie to your face. They'll try to deflect, whatever. A lot of things can be picked up just by who's interacting with who. Corey has realized the fact that Cirie's side isn't trying to interact with Riley is a pretty good indication that they don't support her right now, and that Riley is probably endangered this evening. And he's absolutely correct. So great observation on his part. Izzy walks in just a little bit after that, and she basically confirms to the two of them, says, yeah, no, it's Riley going home at this point in time. We tried, it didn't work out. It's going to be Riley that goes home. All right, Izzy is feeling bad about not letting Riley know about this being a blindside, so to speak, and just not feeling great about keeping secrets. But Corey's saying, nah, look, you've got to keep this decision secret from Riley until the vote itself. Not so much keeping the secret away from Riley because they don't want her to know. I think it's more about keeping the secret away from Hisam because they don't want him to know. And I don't know if it's just because they want to see his reaction, or they're worried that he'll start campaigning and threatening and trying to sway people if he thought, that he wants Riley gone. So he'll be okay with this. But I really think they don't want Hisam to think that there was ever any uncertainty about the thing, this way this is going to go. So Corey's saying, nah, keep it secret. Just you don't need to say anything. There's a whole lot of people that are having a hard time keeping secrets in this house right now. All right, we've got Jag and Mecole talking. Jag is campaigning for Riley. It's not so much a conversation. It's Jag trying to convince Mecole. Probably the toughest pitch that anyone's going to have to make, because Mecole, of everyone in this house, has been the one person from start to finish, well, her and Hisam, start to finish saying, just send her out the door. Why are we messing with her? Just send her out the door. But Jag is trying to pitch to Mecole. Mecole is saying that she hasn't really decided what she wants to do. Well, we know she wants Riley gone, but she does tell him that she's a little bit worrisome about Hisam's wrath when he finds out if Riley stays. I get it, but if that was to happen, Hisam has a whole lot of targets, and I think Mecole is probably a little bit lower down on the list. But she is saying that, and I don't know if she's really concerned about his wrath or if she's just trying to deflect a little bit from Jag. But he's pitching. She asked him for the pros and cons of keeping Riley. Jag offers that Cameron hadn't really made a pitch to anyone, whereas Riley's working hard to campaign and to show people that she wants to stay in the house. I don't know. I think I'm keeping the person who hasn't shown that they can campaign that much, or that they truly have many supporters. I'm not sure that's such a good campaign in support of Riley that Jag's doing, but he's trying. He also mentions that keeping Riley in the house means another person who will go after Hisam. Valid point. It's certainly valid on it, because we know Riley would go after him if she stayed. Mecole is saying, as I mentioned, she doesn't want the wrath of Hisam, however. But in the end, I just don't think it was a very effective talk for Jag. I don't think he's convinced Mecole. I don't know if he could have, regardless of what he said, but good try, but I don't think it's going anywhere. All right, we've got Hisam talking to Red in I think they were in the HOH room, and he's saying, look, this week, Riley goes home. Next week, it's Matt. Cut and dried, right? Well, Hisam's he's got about 24 hours until his world starts falling apart on him. Alternately, if they decide that they want to get Haisam out on a back door, he may not know until Monday's veto ceremony that things aren't quite going the way that Haisam thinks that should be or are actually going. It's going to be an interesting next 72 hours or so, I do think. All right. It's going to be glorious a few days when we see this happen. All right. We've got Riley talking to Jared. She's telling Jared that she has the votes. She's saying the people wouldn't lie to my face. They're telling me they're going to vote for me, and they wouldn't lie to me. Well, welcome to Big Brother, Riley. I think she probably should be paying attention to Corey and realizing that sometimes people don't talk to you because they don't want to lie to you if they can avoid it. So yeah, Riley not quite understanding where she is just yet. She'll figure it out a little bit later. All right, we got Matt talking to Riley. He's telling her, say, you've got to just fight hard for another evening, fight hard tomorrow, and then we can relax. Well, I'm not sure he understands or realizes just how accurate that statement is. Yeah, Riley's going to be able to relax here in, I don't know, another 12 hours or so, but she'll be relaxing somewhere else, unfortunately. But he's trying to encourage her and tell her just to keep up the fight. Matt's been a real friend to Riley. Of everyone in there, Matt's the one person who probably is going to vote to support her no matter what happens. I hope she appreciates that. All right, we've got Riley pitching to Mecole in the bathroom. Hers isn't going to go any better than Jags did. Riley's pitching to Mecole saying to keep in mind who she wants to have a relationship with, and also promising that she isn't targeting Mecole if she stays and gets HOH. That is a tough pitch for Riley to make, considering that we're on night 15, that Riley's had 2 weeks where she has had very minimal conversations with Mecole. So in terms of now promoting a relationship between the two of them, it just doesn't really sound legit, and Mecole's not buying it. She doesn't say no. She's just, so yeah, that worked as well as Jag's little pitch there. All right, we got in the bathroom, Cirie is confirming to Haisam that nothing has changed, that Riley is going home. We're all good, Haisam. Don't worry about it. She just kind of leaves out the middle part about where she kind of flipped it to get out Cameron instead. Yeah, I left that part out. Now we're good, Haisam. It's going to go exactly the way you want. You're still king of the castle. Don't worry about it. And don't worry about it until after the HOH competition and nominations are made, at least. All right, we got Jag and Blue and Izzy and Riley and Cirie in the scary room. Jag is saying that Riley has the votes. Well, and that Cirie's saying, I think you may be surprised, Jag, if you're saying that. I'm not sure that she really does. Cirie is acting all upset, saying that she thinks that now her side is lying to her, that she had all the votes lined up, and now suddenly something has happened. Everyone has changed. She's acting like it's the worst thing in the world. She was behind the flip of the flip. But of course, she's not saying that to Jag and all of them. She's acting very upset that her side has kind of betrayed her and all of that. She also is trying to shut down this opinion. Riley, I think it was earlier today, had said something along the lines that Izzy and Cirie were running the show on the other side of the house. They were in control of everything. Cirie did not like hearing that. If there was ever any uncertainty about whether or not to keep Riley, I think when Cirie heard that probably solved it right there. She, at that point, it's like, just get her out of here. So Cirie is trying to shut that down, saying that, look, we aren't the deciding votes. It's not going to be Izzy and I that make this determination. It's all those other people in my alliance that I can't trust that are lying to me. They're the ones that are going to be responsible if you go home, Riley. She says, I'm very upset that people keep saying I'm in charge. I'm not the deciding anything. And she doesn't say Riley saying I'm in charge, but that's the implication. So she's letting it be known she's not happy with some of the comments that have been made. She's also throwing herself on the sword, so to speak. She's telling Riley, saying, look, I stuck my neck out for you, and it's really going to cost me with my own alliance. I've done what I can, but I can't do anything else if they're not going to vote. I can't force them to vote to save you, and I've tried. I've done everything. It is what it is, Riley. Riley at one point says, well, let's bring in the whole group. If it's them, let's bring in everyone and just hash this out. I don't know who was quickest to shut that down. Everyone shut that down and said, yeah, no, that's not going to be a good idea. I don't think Cirie wants to have that particular conversation. All right, we've got Jared and Blue hanging out throughout the evening. This seemed like a possible showmance in the making. They're flirting a little bit later. They even get more flirty. They're talking about dating rules if they were ever to date each other, who they were involved with before the show, prior commitments, and everything. I thought a lot of that kind of talk. So it certainly seems like they're bouncing around the idea of a showmance. Now, it could be that the two of them are just both trying to kind of play each other and be a little flirty just from a gameplay standpoint. I don't know. I think they enjoy hanging out with each other, taking it to the next level. I don't know if that's something that they really want or they're just trying to stay good with the other person. We'll find out over the next few days. All right, we've got Haisam and Cirie talking. Cirie is saying that she thinks it's going to be either an 11-1 or 9-3 vote. I personally think it's going to be 11-1. I think Jag and Blue are both going to flip once they realize that the House is voting to send Riley out the door, and I'm not convinced that this House can keep this a secret that long. I think Matt will be the only one to vote to save Riley. We'll find out here in just a little bit, but she's saying, yeah, she's going home. It's going to be a pretty big vote against her. And Haisam is saying, well, look, that makes it easy. He says, whoever votes to save Riley, they're going to make themselves then easy targets going forward. He doesn't realize yet that there's an even easier target in the House, and his name is Haisam. So yeah, he's saying, yeah, we'll start going after whoever votes to save Riley. Haisam is going over facts and days and all kinds of trivia about the House, because remember, he can't compete in HOH. So he's trying to make sure that Cirie is ready for this competition so she can win HOH and make sure he stays safe. He thinks that this HOH this evening could be a quick quiz type competition. So he wants to go over memory and days and all that. I agree with Haisam. I think this is one of those evictions and HOHs where I could easily see them set up in the backyard for some kind of a stand in the box, answer questions of some sort or another. I don't think they're going to have it over days and events that have happened. I think it's too early in the season for that. I think it's much more likely they're going to be watching a screen and have to answer questions about memory or something along those lines. But he's really trying to get Cirie prepared, and she's taking the assistants and practicing with them and everything else. All right, we've got Riley and Jag and Matt talking in the bathroom. They don't outright say it, but they're realizing that Riley doesn't have the votes to stay. Riley is starting to cry. She's seeing the writing on the wall as well. She is saying that no one is willing to stick their neck out for her. Well, you've got to have a reason to stick your neck out when you're playing Big Brother. And she really hasn't given anyone a good reason or motivation to stick their neck out and take a chance on her. And that's why she's going home. She just hasn't been able to offer a substantive justification for why she should stay over anyone else. And that's going to be her downfall, I think. All right, we got Jared and Blue eventually coming to the bathroom as well. They're trying to help by figuring out different pitches for Riley. Jared is telling her, say, look, we don't be talking about number ones and all of that because everyone already knows that you've got this little group here. He says, we just need more people. So don't promise that they're your ultimate, all of that. He says, instead, don't promise anything to anyone, but just tell everyone that you're going to be for the House. You're not going after anyone. You just want to lay low. You'll vote the way the House votes. You'll vote the way the person you're talking to wants to vote. You just want to get along with everybody. And he's saying, do that instead of making all kinds of promises that people aren't going to believe anyway. I think that's a valid approach. I think he's on the right track. Is it going to work at this point in time? No, I don't think so. But I think he's on the right path, and it's not going to make a difference anyway. All right, finally, we've got Matt and Riley. They're the only ones up. They're up in Have Not Room. They're eating popcorn, basically just lamenting with each other that things aren't going to go the way they think they want to go or wanted them to go. Riley is saying, look, you're going to have to find a new person to eat popcorn with in the middle of the night after this evening. And Matt is saying, yeah, we'll see what happens. But he's recognizing as well. At one point, he says, I hope if you leave, you're going to be watching the live feeds once you get out. And she said, oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll be watching the live feed. So their last night together to hang out. And Matt's implying very strongly how special she is to him, and that he really likes a lot of people in the house, but some people he really, really likes. So we'll see how that happens. Riley's not going to the jury house. We'll see how long Matt lasts. If he ends up pre-jury as well, we'll see what happens during the rest of the Big Brother season. you may still have showmances, even if they aren't inside the Big Brother house. Is that still a showmance? Man, we'll see. So they kind of finish up the evening. Eventually, Matt gives her a big long hug. Riley leaves the have-not room, and they call it a night. I think that was about 3:30 or so Big Brother time. They were the last ones up, as far as I know, based on the cameras. So there you have it, guys. Tonight's the eviction. I really don't think the eviction is going to be a big surprise. Riley is going home. The HOH, I don't know. I'm curious to see who wins, only because I want to see who potentially gets put up on the block next to Hisam. Now, Hisam, and I guess that's the other decision. Is Hisam going to be a nominee starting tomorrow, or are they going to wait and try to blindside him on Monday's ceremony? We don't know. More importantly than the HOH competition tonight, I think, is going to be the veto competition on Saturday. I absolutely, truly believe, at least at this point in time, that Hisam is going to be the target for everyone else in the house. Maybe not Cameron. That's about the only person that maybe wouldn't go after Hisam, but everyone else will be targeting Hisam. So his life is probably going to be dependent on whether or not he can win a third veto competition in a row come Saturday. So I want to see who wins HOH tonight, but I sure want to see what happens with nominations and the veto competition on Saturday as well. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We got the veto tonight, or the HOH competition tonight. Be watching that. I'll be back tomorrow to give you all updates and all that. Until then, guys, enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy eviction day in the Big Brother house. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning for yet another recap. Until then, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.